Hey everybody, so this is our real thoughts on Alien vs. Predator, and again, it was done immediately after we saw the movie, because we just couldn't shut up about it. We're not going to make this a regular thing, we're going to try not to. We're going to try and just keep it kind of short and tight after we're done talking about it, but sometimes you just get a movie and you want to talk about it right away. You just have a lot to say about it, even if it's something like Alien vs. Predator. So, yeah, that's what this is. This is fresh off watching the movie. I still think we get some good points across and everything, especially with the emotions being very fresh and everything. So, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to let you watch the video. Bye.
God, man, yeah, that's rough.
Isn't it? Like I said.
Yeah, because it's really a very blah, meh,
with some awesome moments.
Dull-ass movie that then becomes something good-ish. Like, there was never a moment where I was like, oh no, this is great. Like, this is anywhere close to on par with the originals. But, like, it got goodish, and it did it in the second. It fucking Rogue One it. Rogue One did. Where how Rogue One starts off that kind of, it's kind of like dull, kind of, and then, but it ends on such a higher note that I probably actually ended up liking it a little better than I did, just because the last thing I remember was the best stuff.
Well, and it's unlike Freddy vs. Jason, where it's like, it takes forever, you're watching these blank characters, it's not that visually interesting, and it makes no sense, but you get two fights. In this one, it's like, it waits till the halfway point, but they spread them out. They do have the fights going on, and they do actually kind of tie in to what's going on with the main character, that one character. Yeah, and I like that one main character, and I like Lance Henriksen.
There's so nothing going on in the first half of this film, though. Like, and now that I've seen the whole thing, it's even worse thinking back, because I'm like, don't give a shit about any of the ones except for the one that makes it. Which is good. Like, I'm glad that I enjoyed her enough, but you didn't need Lance Henriksen in this movie.
No, you didn't need any of those people.
That had no effect on anything. I don't know why they make a Bishop robot 100 years in the future. Well, it looks like our company's creator. Like, okay, so randomly the B robot we call Bishop and name him after whatever.
Yeah, which apparently this isn't canon anyway, so it makes no sense. I give it credit that it's trying to be a real movie in the first half, but yet you didn't need it to be. If the rest was like the last third.
Okay, that is so the weird thing, because we've complained, I think rightfully so, that Mortal Kombat and Event Horizon aren't real movies.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we're like, no, stop trying to be a real movie. Just be like it, because all the real movie stuff in the first half just is so boring.
I'll give it a little credit. It's kind of nice looking. It has one or two characters.
No, it's nice. It's nice looking, but I mean, but that's not what I want out of Alien versus Predator. Mm-hmm. And it's not that that's the problem. It's not that scary when it's nice looking. It's too polished. It's too, when I think of Alien or Aliens, like, there's some nice looking stuff occasionally, but it's still like got that gritty kind of thing.
Like what's in there? Like you're afraid of what's in there. Yeah.
Like, this needed to be closer to Aliens. Aliens is not really a pretty-looking movie. It's actually, Aliens, to me, more than Alien, is claustrophobic. Mm. Like, it's really, there's a lot of dark, there's a lot of strobe lights.
There's a lot of people, you're covered in shit.
There's not long shots of these great caverns with all the eggs, for the most part, and all of that buildup that Alien had. And that's what this needed to be. It just needed to be more like Aliens. Mm-hmm. I don't care about the giant shots of the pyramid and all of that shit, because it's not scary. And he would do these, like, cuts to, like, these shots that are really pretty looking, but I'm like, well, that just took the scare out of it. There's no claustrophobia here. You gave us a long, wide shot where you can see everything. So I know there's going to be no alien jumping out right there in the middle of that scene.
Do you think this movie is trying to be scary, though? I think it's more trying to be, like, a fight film.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then it blew it by taking too long to get to
it. Yeah, which I agree.
So, but that's the problem. I don't think this film knows what it wants to be. Like, the first half, it wants to be like Alien, or what Prometheus ended up being.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a different. It ends being a different film than how it began.
It ends being basically Aliens for the most part. Yeah, and it can't tell what it wants. Like, I feel like when it was acting more like Aliens, it was a way better movie. But that's a problem, though. James Cameron still, we could be like, oh, Avatar's stupid. But as an action director, he's still one of the best action directors on the planet. And everything he did, he knew how to direct and choreograph an action scene. Anderson is pieces of it. Like,
Yeah.
But you watch an entire action scene, you're like, okay, 50% of that was kind of fun to watch and solid, and the other 50%, he may as well have just been telling guys, flail your arms and I'm going to shake the camera.
And then
like,
have bad CG.
And when it's,
Mortal Kombat's
together,
the same way.
yeah.
Half of that action is good, and the other half is like, oh, come on. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have a soft spot for it. I can't help it.
Honestly, for me, I'd say oh man, it's so fucking tough. if it didn't end on a high note, I would rate it much lower. But because at least all the good stuff was towards the end, so that's the last thing I'm remembering, I'd say it's a C movie.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought.
C minus if I'm probably being realistic, but to me it's like kind of a C minus movie. It got lucky that it ended on such a high note.
Yeah.
If it didn't do that, I would be like, this is a D movie.
It's one of those movies where it's like, even though I totally agree with the criticisms that it should be an R and that it should just be them hunting each other, one person.
I have the same problem with Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat I have a problem with just because on top of it not being an R, which is the studio's fault, I don't think it's a very well directed movie.
This one at least, I'm interested through at least the second half, and bits of the first half I'm interested in. I like some of these people. You don't have Johnny Cage falling over going, wah, wah. It's like I legitimately like the main lead.
None of the first half interested me at all, but I didn't actively despise the character.
Yeah.
So
there's no Sonya Blade. Yeah. So, this is a legitimately tough Sonya Blade. This is not I'm tough. Where's Kano? It's like, no, this woman can kick my fucking ass.
To me, the first half of this movie was just like, it's like getting your oil changed in your car or something, or when you have to wait somewhere. It's just like you're just sitting there waiting. You know, it's like a roller coaster. It's like the first half was the hour-long wait for the ride, and then the rest was kind of the ride. And when you get off the ride, you're like, yeah, that was kind of worth the wait, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that was close enough, but it's not like I got off this, that was totally worth the wait.
So I in a weird way, I'm kind of happy that it's getting a little bit more love like a fan base and stuff, because I felt like people hated on it so much. I just want to say, no, there was some good stuff here and some legitimately awesome stuff that needed credit.
Well, I think the other problem is this is before Prometheus, so
that's a good point.
I think
you're
so
like,
much,
you know.
I feel like so much of the hate was like this is all we had. You had what was it? Alien Resurrection was the one before this.
Yeah.
Was the last one before this? And that was like what, 6 years maybe before this one?
I don't know, something like that.
So yeah, the 6-year wait, and yeah, people were like, I can understand the hate, but I think now since then, with where the series continues to go, I think maybe people will look at this and go, you know what, this is dumb, but at least it has some, like, at least it's almost kind of aware of what it's is. Like,
I like this more than Prometheus. I can almost guarantee I'm gonna like it more than the next one, because it's just gonna be Prometheus and Alien again, and it's
Are
not
you gonna
be
fucking
interesting.
see the next one? I have no desire.
I have no desire at all. I'm gonna try not to see it unless I hear like amazing things, which is very unlikely. Ridley Scott's not blowing me away for years.
Alien 3 was lit. I don't like Alien 3 that much. But I don't actively like despise it. Like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. This completely like, but
I'm not gonna lie. I like this more than Alien 3. I don't like Alien
3 is the last one. I'm just like, okay, that was
that's
kind
just
of
dull
an Alien
all the way
movie.
through. That's just so boring all the way through. This one at least had some interesting
This
scenes
versus
in it.
Alien 3. Okay, I could tell you, here's the problem. This one's more entertaining, probably. Alien 3 I could still take seriously. I couldn't do that with this. I don't know. It's a toss-up, but
they're
Alien
very
3 is
different.
the last one where
Alien 3 is trying to be an actual alien film.
And Alien 3 is not a great movie. It's not a good movie even. But Alien 3 to me is kind of like this, like a C movie. That's like the last one to me, because like you're right. It's Alien and Aliens are the only two that I'm like, no, these were the great movies.
Again,
and since then it's been a slog of, I feel like Alien 3 and this one maybe like kind of like that middle of the road. Blech. Like, I can't take this fucking movie seriously for a second.
Alien 3, I could take more of it seriously, but I'm just like, oh my god.
But it was a dull movie.
Yeah, and then killing off the main characters. And see, that shit really pissed me off. Like, I
Oh
couldn't
no!
get past
After everything that happens in Aliens,
I could not fucking
Oh no!
get
My
past that.
my favorite thing about Aliens is I just go, and then they drifted off into space and lived happily ever after the end. But what about Alien 3? There is no Alien 3.
Yeah, no, it's like fine. That's like kind of like the Star Wars prequels to me. It's not like those are the worst movies, but it's like the shit they do when you compare it to the other ones.
But
It's
see,
like
at
fuck
least
you,
in
movie.
Alien 3, what I liked is they fucking ended it.
Yeah.
Like, that was supposed to be it. And then they did Alien Resurrection. That was my problem already with Alien Resurrection. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
I'm like, we were done! Like, she fucking kills herself at the end of 3.
No, we needed to go out on a higher note or have. It's like, well, you didn't do that. Should have just gone for full garbage like this one.
What does make me laugh, though, is, like, Sigourney Weaver took Alien Resurrection because she actually liked the script.
She liked that she could have a meaty, conflicted character.
But the funny thing is, like,
sucked.
I guess she turned down... Was it this one I was reading? She turned down one of the ones somewhere and just like, I don't like the scripts. I don't know if she learned her lesson or... But...
Oh, yeah, no, I think she was supposed to be in this, like, somewhere. And I think she just says, that makes no sense. And got rid of it. And so maybe that's even
I
why
think that
they
was her
rewrote
exact
it.
quote, like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
But
Even
no,
Resurrection barely made sense.
I haven't seen the Resident Evil movies. I've never had any desire to.
No,
So out
I
of
haven't
this
seen them either.
guy's films, I'd say this is the best, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Because I've never been a fan of Mortal Kombat.
Granted, like I said, never seen the Resident Evils. Have not heard good things, but they make
have
so
not-
many of them. There's
or,
gotta be something.
Did not like Event Horizon. Now, his original R-rated cut,
Would have been more
knows,
interesting,
yeah.
but it's still. It is
but
that
what we
interesting.
ended up having to get was not good. This may be... But I feel like even if it was like a darker R-rated cut, it still would not have been a great... It would have had a better payoff.
Yeah, well,
Maybe it would have been
still
closer
written,
to this.
Yeah,
but,
it was still
but
written
see,
by.
honestly, I
Benedict.
feel like there's... Compared to Event Horizon, there's better filmmaking skill going on in this.
I agree.
Like, you know, I don't have to sit here and say I think he's a great director, but I'm like, if we're comparing them all, like, I think this is probably the best place.
The homages in this to Alien compared to the homages in Event Horizon. Event Horizon, I'm like, fuck off, shut up. Every single time I saw a set ripped off and everything else. Here, it's like, it's a nice little homage.
Yeah.
It's a nice little, hey, we did that, but we're not going to slam it into your face. It's just sort of like a, hey, isn't that kind of similar thing? And it didn't feel like it was punching you with it. Where Event Horizon wasn't even an Alien movie. It was trying to be an Alien movie, and it sucked at it. So, yeah.
I don't know. I know some people are just, like, so despise this. The Alien fans and Predator fans, a lot of them were so hardcore over this, but I'm like, it just... Honestly, I'm just like, it's not worth it. Like, I just...
Oh, in terms of
Yeah,
love or
this
hate.
didn't destroy anything for me. People are like, oh, it destroys the mythos. And the, like,
I know a lot of people that
I-
love it too, you know, and I can.
yeah,
I can kind of
I've seen both. I've seen people who love it. I don't love it.
No.
I've seen people who despise this movie. I don't despise it. For me, it's not worth it one way or another. I'm like, yeah, this exists. Like, there were some parts that were mildly entertaining. I'm probably never gonna sit through this film again.
I would
outside
sit.
of
I would
this
sit through
review.
part. I've seen, like I said, I've seen parts of it a couple times.
You know what?
on
I would
TV.
sit. I would sit
And
through
I
the
would-
last half.
Yeah, no, I would sit through that.
I'd
stuff.
go to YouTube, go through the clips of it somewhere, and you know.
Even some stuff in the opening, I would look at some of those shots again because I think they were photographed very nice. And again, out of his movies, I think it's the best looking one.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't have any. I don't hate this film. I don't love it. It's just there, and if people love it or hate it, that's fine. But that requires investing like emotion and passion, and I'm just like, there wasn't much here.
No, I think
It certainly does. I will say this in this movie's defense. No, all right, I'll totally give it this. Out of all of the sequels post Aliens, this one was the least offensive in the sense that it really did nothing to like wreck my feeling for the first two movies. Like, Alien 3 is directly connected. That kind of wrecks it. Alien Resurrection is. God, fucking Prometheus. And, like, this one, honestly, I'm just like, this feels so in its own other little universe. It doesn't wreck the Predator movies for me.
But even by
Predator
having
2 wrecks the Predator movies.
Yeah, no, even by having it be 2004, it's immediately like, okay, guys, I don't know. It's like having Q, what's her name? Judi Dench in like Skyfall and Quantum of Solace and stuff, where it's just like, but wait, Pierce Brosnan, this is a prequel, but she's in it. To me, it's like that dumb shit. It's like, okay, it's clearly just kind of its own thing.
Out of all of them, I've probably found this to be the least offensive on that level. Of I mean, honestly, I'm the easiest with this movie when it comes to how does it affect the rest of everything, because it feels so separate, even from Predator.
So somebody
feels
asked
separate
me,
from Predator. It feels closer to Predator to me than Aliens.
Yeah, it's a hunt movie.
Yeah, it's it's really more of a Predator spin-off than an Alien spin-off to me.
Somebody asked me on an interview, what are your favorite Alien movies, and I said, okay, I said probably Aliens over Alien. I say Aliens, Alien. I thought about it, I'm like, Alien versus Predator, because it's just, I would much rather watch this. I would much rather watch this again over Alien 3, over Prometheus.
For entertainment value, I will give you this one. Yeah, over that.
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm supposed to take it seriously, I would still probably go Alien 3, but Alien 3 is not a fun movie to sit through.
Exactly, and you're right. I mean, this does not feel like you're supposed to take it that seriously. It's
an
a hunt
Alien.
movie,
The first Alien is not actually a fun movie to sit through, but it's a much better
amazing.
film.
Yeah.
Aliens is the perfect combination of it is both scary and amazingly fun to sit through.
Yeah, that's why I put it above Alien. But no, the atmosphere and everything else in Alien is so amazing. I will watch it all the way through and just be blown away by it. But yeah, no, in terms of like, most entertaining, it's just like, what would I rather put on? If I have all the Alien movies, what would I put on?
I would start from the middle of the movie.
And then, this one.
I would say, you know what, okay, I will go in on you with that. But I would say Aliens, Alien, and then the second half. I would not bother sitting through the first half. And I was falling asleep.
I do kind of feel bad for Alien 3 because I agree, it's legitimately trying to be a real Alien movie, and in some respects, it actually does succeed, and much more than this. But in terms of what would I rather put on, what would I say, like, I want to pop this in, press play, I would watch this. And they couldn't believe I said that, but I'm like, really? What would you want to put on? What would you want to put in the DVD player and say, yes, I want to invest this amount of time in? It's like, I would watch this over Alien 3
if you put a gun to my head and said, you can only watch one of these again and again and again, it would probably be Alien over Alien 3.
And with the new one, here's the thing with the new one would have to do, but when we're shooting this, by the way, new one hasn't come out yet, it would have to do something extraordinarily impressive or different, which Prometheus certainly different.
I feel like we're just
But I just feel like, even if it's
series.
done good, let's say it's done good, I'm just going to be saying, why are we still making these? Why am I watching this?
I just don't give a shit about the mythos. I give a shit about the mythos in this.
No.
Oh, the humans are building pyramids because the predators came down and convinced them they were gods. And I still feel that is overly convoluted for a warrior race. The warrior race should have just been like, hey, let's drop a couple eggs on this planet and
come back a year.
Yeah, and we'll just go hunting. Like what is with all this other shit? Like,
it makes no sense.
But then the aliens got over control, so then they nuked it. I'm like, why?
Cautionary tale?
I'm like, how are the aliens gonna get off the planet? Like, I guess maybe if some other alien species came and landed there, maybe we wanted to get, but
yeah. I'm wondering if those, because at the very end you see those other predators show up and there's the ship and everything. A part of me is wondering, were they just there the whole time watching? And this was like the Warriors test or something like that. I wonder if that's a theory at all. Because that would actually be really interesting.
The Predators confuse me because it's always supposed, like, that's where, like people just like, the ones who hate on this, like, oh, it ruins the mythos. I'm like,
was really that much of a mythos to begin with?
Yeah, well, not only that, we didn't have Prometheus yet, so we didn't know where any of this shit was going. And
we still don't, even with Prometheus.
No, that's true. And even then, with Predator, I'm just like, did it make any sense to begin with? Like, did you sit through fucking Predator 2, dude? Do you Predator 2, bro?
Well, even...
like, come on. Like, Predator 2 just was my favorite. Like, I haven't seen that movie since, I think, high school. And I just remember it's like, these great warriors. Like, you could drop anywhere on the planet, like, to hunt and really hunt. So why are you dropping into a war zone? Like, that at least to me made sense about Predator 1. But Predator's like, we're dropping LA. I'm like, oh, I get it. It's like some sort of hilarious social commentary. But I'm like, come on. Like,
in all
nowadays
the
you
world,
fucking drop in
No.
Afghanistan or Syria.
in all the world at that time, LA was the most. I get the commentary, but out of the earth, LA is where you were going.
I would have gone to Detroit.
And that's the. I mean, with just the planet Earth and all the battles and wars that are always going on somewhere on Earth.
I just remember even when I was younger, hating that movie.
I remember it being dull and stupid. Yeah.
I may have to put it on because I forget why it was. It's like there was like some FBI agent and God, it's just dumb.
Well, the interesting thing about the first Predator is that
the first Predator is amazing.
No, and the interesting thing about the first Predator is that is the only Schwarzenegger movie where Schwarzenegger is actually topped by something, because he's usually the thing to see. He's the Terminator.
Yeah.
He's the action star. And in this, the Predator is the only thing that actually legitimately kind of tops him, and people take that out of the movie more than Schwarzenegger.
Do it!
No, and that's very rare.
Come on!
And he
right here!
And he has the one-liners, and he's being Schwarzenegger, but that is the one movie where people take the Predator out of that and not him.
And it made sense. I like that answer. It's like, it's a warrior culture going up against, U.S. like Army Marines and like in the jungle. Like, I get that. So if you're gonna land and shoot things and stuff, like, I don't get why you don't go to jungle war zones and search out the people who are really trained to kill you. You want an awesome fight. Mm-hmm. Which was my problem with this. I'm like, okay, the two guys with guns are it. Like, the Predator's got to be looking at this like, really? Like, with fucking, this is like just shooting minnows in a barrel. Like, we're like, this is small fish.
You're talking about
so when the xenomorphs come in, I get that.
You're talking about the temple. The only thing I can figure with that, because you see stuff moving and booby traps and stuff, I'm figuring maybe that's part of it, like a place where they can hunt and keep it on their toes and stuff. But I'm also thinking, still what you said, that if they just let them loose
the fucking
on
jungle.
The planet,
yeah,
the jungle, you can still, have a good hunt, and you can let them go far, and where are they and stuff.
See, that's the problem. It's like, I don't get that this is training ground for them. I get that this is like rites of initiation, like the ultimate test, not just like, oh, we're just gonna train. Like, so I know, or maybe it was a giant machine to help control the output of the aliens, so there wasn't an over-infestation. But still, it just seems so
it didn't work anyway.
To enslave an entire race to get them to do this for you, when you just could have impregnated a few of them and boom. Mm-hmm. Plus, if they're so badass, who cares if the aliens over-infestate everything? It's like, well, that's your fucking job to fucking hunt them.
Yeah, I am kind of wondering, too. It's like they're climbing the temple and getting up. It's like, these things have ships. Why don't they just come down, hey, pick me up, guys, whoop, head up.
Why are they teaching the humans to build fucking temples? When they've got all this space-age technology, they could have just... Why not build a giant Jurassic Park fence and put the aliens in there? None of it makes sense. But it was kind of entertaining.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I'm glad I finally got to see this all the way through, because I always saw big chunks of it on TV. It was always playing somewhere, and I'm always like, this doesn't look that bad. Like, imagine taking it seriously and stuff.
Oh, see, if I only saw chunks of it, and a lot of them were from the second half, I'd be disappointed now. I would have the opposite. I would be like, oh, man, this looked really cool. Now it fucking sucks.
No, see, because I always heard so many people just say how terrible and awful it is. Every time I saw bits of it, I'm like, doesn't seem that bad. I mean, like, I can see how it's kind of silly and stuff, but I mean, like, and now watching all the way through, it's like, okay, well, I see with the first half and stuff, but...
It's not awful.
No.
It's just not good.
But it has good scenes in it. It has good stuff in it. The bar was set so low.
Weird middle of the road where it's like, this is not awful. It's
to get middle of the road at all, though. I mean, like, the bar was set so low and everyone just hated it so much.
Considering who directed it, yes,
okay,
I will say that bar has been set low.
Yeah.
I'm kind of amazed that it's as good as it is.
Yeah, so, like I said, it's I got kind of a soft spot for it, even though I totally see the problems. It's hard for me to actually say it's a good movie, but it's like, I got a soft spot for it. I can't help it. There's enough legitimately cool stuff in it that I'm like, okay, I'm glad I saw this. I'm not put in a worse mood like with every other Alien movie after Aliens.
I will say this. Honestly, I'm in one of the better moods I've been after watching it. Like, consider what Viva Rock Vegas was last time. Though Clock Stoppers was another surprise. I'm like, I'm not in an awful mood having seen this. I'm like, it's just more this exists, and I'm kind of the same here.
I think after Freddy vs. Jason, because they had such a strong reaction from everybody and the views went nuts for it, I was kind of like, okay, maybe it makes sense to do this too. Because I've always been, because I've talked about it before, and I said, actually, I don't dislike this movie that much. And people are always either like, yeah, right, what's with the hate? Or like, fuck you, what the hell's wrong with you? You know, kind of thing. So I'm always kind of like, this would be interesting to talk about. I think there's definitely...
We need Alien versus Predator versus Gremlins versus Borg.
I'm totally down for a three-way fight with the Gremlins. I hear the one after this, Requiem, is what everyone thinks the low bar is going to be for this one. I hear that's pure shit. That's where the teens come in and stuff like that. So,
what?
Yeah, maybe in the future we'll see that. I don't know. I don't want to, but...
we need Alien versus Predator versus Terminators.
Well, yeah, wasn't there a...
Did they do that?
No. There was a Terminator and either Predator or Aliens somewhere.
There was a crossover with, I think, 2 of the sets. I don't know if they did all 3.
I don't know if they did all 3.
Would be an amazing
cool
clusterfuck.
Yeah, and then, like, somehow the Gremlins get in there, too. There just needs to be, like, this epic battle of 80s monsters like that.
I do feel like, though, this is part of the problem. It's been just diminishing returns on this series, and when you look at the directors attached, you can see why. Mm-hmm. You know, well, actually, Ridley Scott, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Though I feel like Ridley Scott's never been quite the same in the past, like, 15 years.
Gladiator fucked him up, in my opinion. Nothing has been good since Gladiator.
Gladiator was...
No, actually, Matchstick... I think he did Matchstick Men. That was okay.
Gladiator was overrated when it was out. I didn't get that.
No, I didn't get it either.
But but I'm like, you think of aliens like James Cameron, you know, you think of Predator, you think, was it John McTiernan did that movie? And like, and we've gone from that to... Paul W.S. Anderson. So
no, actually,
you're
no,
just
but
not
even
gonna compare.
no, but here's the thing: there were good. You know, David Fincher did Fincher or Fishner, I forget, but
Fincher.
He did 3. The guy who directed
his wheelhouse.
No.
That was part of the problem. That was so not his wheelhouse.
Well, no, and that's what I was gonna say too, because the director of Amelie did Alien Resurrection.
Again, not his wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, but he's done some creepy, weird movies too, but not Alien. It's clearly not Alien.
Old school Ridley Scott, that was his wheelhouse. Old school James Cameron, that was his wheelhouse.
Even, I'll make the argument, even new school James Cameron.
Well, even new
I can
school
see him
James
still
Cameron.
doing Alien. There's still a lot of his cliches. I mean, he's good cliches in there.
So that, but I don't really go, Alien versus Predator, Paul W.S. Anderson.
No, that wouldn't be my first.
Which is why, again, to be fair,
you know, it would
surprises me how good it was.
It would if it could be an R movie. I might choose him. I might have chosen him, and maybe said, look, rewrite this a little bit because there's good elements in here and stuff, and make it an R. Make it Event Horizon what you want for Event Horizon
still
R.
Downgrading the. He's not as good of an action director. That's the thing. You're talking about fucking John McTiernan and James Cameron. That's the problem. True. Is you have to be a good... You not only do you have to know how to do suspense, which in a strange way I do feel like Event Horizon had better suspense earlier on in the movie than this film ever did. But not only do you have to do good suspense, you have to do good action. And those are 2 masters of the genre. And it's just... You gotta find the right person. And... This could have been a lot worse, but it still is diminishing returns.
Yeah. I like it better than Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, I do too.
I like it a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah. No, fuck that. That movie was fucking like...
Just wait forever to get to the fight.
I can complain about things that don't make sense in this movie, but Freddy vs. Jason was fucking nonsensical. Like, I'm just like, it's like, you didn't even tell, like, a computer wrote this screenplay, didn't it? Like, literally just, it was some random generator.
So, yeah, we'll probably just make this the real thoughts, too. Because we went on and on about it, but...
I've seen better. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
It could have been worse, John.
Could have been a lot worse. Yeah, in our line of work, we know how bad this could be.
And
you know, I
love
think
it
you
when
know
people-
too, because
Yeah.
a lot of people say Requiem is what they thought this was going to be.
I love it when people like come up to me and they're just like, "How could you even say that movie was even halfway decent?" And I'm just like, or they'll say things like, you know, "Oh, Fourth Awakens is garbage," and I'm just like,
Do you garbage pale kids, bro?
I was like,
garbage
you
pale
do
kids.
not know garbage. Like, we've seen garbage, man.
Even
like,
we-
our bar is really low. It's below the floor right
Honestly,
now. So
even
that's
our
why
bar-
this one is like not good, but I could totally get through this movie.
Even our bar compared to like what Brad Jones sees and some of these other
his
people,
bar's way
it's
lower
like-
than ours.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking
even we
Smurfs.
don't have the low. So if
Guardians of the Galaxy.
so
yeah.
So yeah, I think you can get our initial thoughts on it.
C minus movie.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for it. I still enjoy it, but I would give the
F.
same rating, like a C.
First half D minus, second half B minus B maybe. So
See, I
it
say
averages out.
I would say
C minus.
I would say first half C, second half B minus. I like that second half. I think it's legitimately cool. And that's
Second
the
half
movie
B,
I
said
think a lot of
B
people want
minus,
to
but
see.
the first half D minus. I'm not a.
Yeah, I can't be that cruel. I can't be that harsh.
It was competent, but it was boring.
I thought it was visually interesting enough, and those couple, her and Hendrickson were interesting enough.
Hendrickson wasn't interesting at all.
No, I thought he was. I thought when he was saying,
I love
like, he
him as an
kinda did-
actor, but there was no character there. I'm dying. There it is. Like,
Yeah, but he did that so okayly.
yeah, see?
We've seen it done worse. And it's Lance Hendrickson.
I thought
I can't help it. It's Lance
I thought
Hendrickson.
he had more passion and emotion as the fucking robot.
Well, yes, but still, it's still.
He's a human here.
So yeah, that gives you an idea, and we will see you next time.